the side that you have your cornea. On this side, the side that's towards the eyelid, this part here would be called your palpebral conjunctiva. All right. So the skin side or the eyelid side, that's your palpebral conjunctiva. On the side of the cornea or the bulb of the eye, that's called your bulbar conjunctiva. All right. So within the eyelid, you have this. Okay, this is a little hard. All right, you have this strip of connective tissue here. All right, that's called the tarsal plate, and within the tarsal plate, you will see these glands that are called the tarsal glands. All right, so these are modified sebaceous glands that are present within the eyelid. All right, so this region, that would be our tarsal plate here, and then these glands would be your tarsal glands. See it on this side as well. Those are your tarsal glands. All right, so if we follow the palpebral conjunctiva all the way down into the corner here, so let's follow that. There's another transitional region here. So in this region where you're gonna have, well, this one goes all the way in. You're gonna have a transition between your palpebral conjunctiva and your bulbar conjunctiva. So this region is called your fornix. So again, it's a transitional region where you're going from the palpebral to the bulbar conjunctiva. Let me show you on this side. All right, so we see it on this side as well. So remember, on this side, the side that we have our cornea, that's your bulbar conjunctiva. If you follow that all the way back here, you'll see a transition where it goes from the bulbar into the palpebral conjunctiva. So this area here, that's called your fornix. Alright, so that's all at the front of the eye. And this one, you can see the lens a little bit better. Most of it is still there. Alright, and we see a little bit more of our suspensory ligaments here. Alright, so let's go to the back here. Take a look at our retina. Alright, so this outer layer here of connective tissue, that's your sclera. So that's the outermost layer of the eye. Then below that, you have this pigmented layer here. That's called your choroid. And the layer above that is your retina. All right, so we're looking at the layers of the retina. So the retina, that's the innermost layer. All right, so looking from the outside or from the choroid layer here, you're going to have this layer of cells, the first one. Alright, so we have this first layer here, that's our pigment epithelial layer here. So that's right, sitting right above the choroid. So this is our sclera, all of this connective tissue. And then you have this pigmented layer here, that's your choroid. Alright, so we have our pigment epithelial layer here. And you can, if you kind of focus up and down, you can see the nuclei of the cells here. So that's a single layer of cells, and the cells are pigmented, so they're called the pigment epithelial layer. All right. Then the next layer, that's going to be our layer of rods and cones here. All right. And then we have our outer nuclear layer, then our outer plexiform layer, our inner nuclear layer, your inner plexiform layer, and then you have your ganglion cell layer. So remember your ganglion, those are cell bodies. All right, so we see these big eyeballs here. That's your ganglion cell layer. And then the inner layer would be your nerve fiber layer. All right, so these are the cell bodies of the nerve fibers that are in this layer here. So that's your nerve fiber layer or your optic nerve fiber layer. Alright, so if we follow that layer going all the way around, alright, alright, so you notice that this layer, the nerve fiber layer, starts to become thicker as we go around. Alright, and then as we move towards our optic nerve here. Alright, so notice it's getting thicker and thicker as we move towards the optic nerve. Alright. Alright, so let's go back to low power. Alright, so this one wasn't actually cut through the, you don't see where the optic nerve is coming into the eye. So I'll show you another slide. Alright, so this is our optic nerve in the back here. So let me just show you another slide where you can see it. Go back to our slide that we were looking at before. Alright, so here's our optic nerve here. So notice this region here where you have the nerve coming into the eye, you have a break in the layers, or some of the layers of the retina here. So from here to here, you don't have all these layers here. Alright, so this is going to be your optic disc or your optic papillae. So again, this is another transition region where you have the nerve fibers coming in, so you have this break in the layers of the retina here. Alright, so that's your optic disc or your blind spot. Alright, so you don't have the photosensitive layer here, so you won't be able to process any images at this point along the eye. Alright, so that's called your blind spot. Alright, the fovea centralis, I'm not sure if any of our slides have it. I didn't see it in any of these. I don't think this one has it. Alright, what you would see with the fovea centralis, it's just a region here where you have pretty much your nerve fiber layer here would be missing, or these upper layers would be missing, and it goes right down to the layer of cones on the eye. So you would see kind of a dip in the layers of the retina there. All right.
The layers of the retina?
Yeah.
Oh, you did those, okay.
All right, so I think that's it for the eye. All right, and then the ear. It's a scanning view of the ear. All right, so your ear consists of a series of labyrinths where you have these cavities that are filled with fluid. All right, so if we look in this region here, that's where we're going to find our cochlea. All right, and then within the cochlea, you have, remember, the cochlea spirals around and around, so when you cut through it, you're going to have a series of sections where you have these cavities that are sitting together. All right, and then within the vestibule, that's where we'll find our macula and our odolytic membrane. All right, so with the scanning view, you're seeing the cochlea on top here. In this section, that's where we find our vestibule here. So when we put it up here, it's going to be flipped around. All right, so our cochlea, we're going to find that towards the bottom. All right, and then the vestibule with the macula and the odolytic membrane we'll find up here. All right, so let's take a look at the cochlea. All right, so remember I said it spirals around and around, so when you cut through it, you have all these different cavities. But pretty much what you're looking for, all right, let's use this one, because we can see the entirety in here. All right, so you have these cavities that are sitting together. All right, this here, so we have our scala media, our scala tympani, our scala vestibuli. So how are we gonna know